Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our SWAC football head coaches media session for Monday, October the 6th. Just a couple quick updates before we get started. We'll begin at approximately 10:05. We'll be joined by Alabama A&M head coach Sam Shade. At 10:15, we'll have Coach Eddie Robinson with Alabama State. At 10:25, we'll be joined by Coach Cedric Thomas with Alcorn State. 10:35, we'll have Coach Raymond Woodie with Bethune-Cookman. At 10:45, we'll be joined by Coach James Colzie with Florida A&M. 10:55, we'll have Coach Mickey Joseph with Grambling State. At 11:05, we'll be joined by Coach Alonzo Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. At 11:15, we'll be joined by Coach Terrell Buckley with Mississippi Valley State. At 11:25, we'll have Coach Tummaine Jackson with Prairie View A&M. At 10:35, we'll be joined by Coach Terrence Graves with Southern University. At 11:45, we'll have Coach Chris Dishman with Texas Southern. And at 11:55, we'll be joined by Coach T.C. Taylor with Jackson State to round out our 12 head coaches availability for this week. Just a couple quick announcements. We asked you to please ensure that your lines are actively muted unless you're actively asking a question. Please limit your questions to one initial question. If there's additional time allotted in our coaches availability, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. We asked you please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. With that being said, we're going to pause here momentarily and we'll begin at approximately 10:05 with Alabama A&M head coach Sam Shade. We thank you for your patience. Once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, we ask you please utilize your raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question. If you see several questions are already in the queue, if we have additional time, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, we're happy to be joined by Coach Shade with Alabama A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Jackson State.
Yes, played Jackson State in the Gulf Coast Challenge. Jackson State, man, defending SWAC champions and defending HBCU national champions, and they played like champions against us on Saturday, and we didn't for 4 quarters.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open it up for questions for Coach. With that being said, we'll take the first question from Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Shay, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good, Coach. So after Saturday's game there, what is the overall mindset of the team after the game there?
Well, we thought we'd play better in that ball game. We knew we were going to have our work cut out for us. Against Jackson State. Just felt like the first quarter we played okay. Score was 10-7 going into the second quarter, and then it just kind of got away from us. But bottom line is this: defensively, we got to play better. We got to stop the run. They had over 300 yards rushing on us. And then offensively, we actually threw the ball around okay, but we weren't able to run the ball. We only ran for like 60 yards, so that's just not good enough. So we got to get better in the running game on both sides of the ball.
Andrew, is it okay if I ask one additional question here?
Yeah, we just got two in the queue. You can go ahead.
Okay, Coach Shay, another question I want to ask is the hit that Quad Brown took there to his ankle. First off, how is he? And then also, I just want to get your take on the view of that play itself.
Well, actually, Quad, man, he iced his ankle all the way back from Mobile. He was sitting right behind me, iced his ankle up, and he was talking about, hey, being ready to go for homecoming. He had put that behind him and moved on. And actually, watching the tape, the player from Jackson State actually ended up stumbling. He was blitzing from the nickel spot from the field, and he actually ended up stumbling in two quad. Obviously at the time, when it's going fast, it looked like it might have been intentional, but it wasn't.
I appreciate that, Coach, and good luck this week with homecoming against Valley.
All right, thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Good morning, Coach Shay. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing good. To move on from the game from Saturday, you're going into the game this Saturday against Mississippi Valley that's looking for their first win. What do you tell you guys? Try not to overlook an opponent, even an opponent like Mississippi Valley that does not have their first win, but they're looking for one.
Well, the bottom line is this: Mississippi Valley they played two SWAC opponents, and they've lost both games by less than a touchdown. They basically they were winning the Texas Southern game all the way up until less than a minute left in the game, and so they're a team that they're playing well, just hadn't been able to get in the win column in the SWAC, and it kind of reminds me of we played Bethune-Cookman a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And going into that game, they only had one win, but bottom line is this: they were playing good football. It just wasn't showing up on the win column. So you definitely don't have to worry about our team overlooking Mississippi Valley.
I appreciate you, Coach.
Yes.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, you talked about looking like a championship team. What are those characteristics that a championship team looks like?
Well, you take a look at Jackson State, and they were hitting on all cylinders on offense, defense, and special teams. Offensively, they had 700 yards of offense. Defensively, we were able to pass the ball a little bit, but we weren't able to do much at all on the ground with only 60 yards rushing. And then, after halftime, we go in at halftime down 33-10, but, we're still feeling like we got a shot because we got an explosive offense. And we go out, we kick off to them, and the young man almost runs it back, makes a play on us on special teams. So, they beat us in all three phases. That's what a championship team looks like to me. They're playing well in all three phases.
All right, Coach, I appreciate that. Can I ask one more?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about stopping the run, Coach. That's been a reoccurring theme for your team. How are you going to go about getting that executed?
Well, that's something we talked about yesterday in our meetings, and going into this game against Mississippi Valley, they're going to run the football. They've got a quarterback that can run it, and we got to be prepared to stop him. So we're going to spend more time on the running game this week. We're going to spend a lot more time on the running game on both sides of the ball.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Shade with Alabama A&M. Final questions? All right, we'll take a question from Mo Carter.
Hey, Coach Shade. Of course, you're taking on Mississippi Valley this week, and it's another week in which you're taking on a group that's led by a former player from the NFL. Do you have any stories or any cross ties with Coach Buckley from your pro days?
No, not really any cross ties. We know a lot of the same people, and I'll tell you what, man. Coach Buckley, he's a Mississippi guy. He's done a good job of getting some Mississippi talent in there on that team. And like I said, they're 0-4, but they could easily be 2-2. Their 2 SWAC losses have been really close ball games, and games in which they were leading. So we're gonna have our work cut out for us this Saturday.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Any final questions? Coach Shade, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we're a few minutes ahead of schedule, so I want to give me the opportunity to get on the call for Coach Robinson's availability. So we'll pause here for a minute or two. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. All right, once again, for our media participants, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question. If there's several questions during the queue, if we have additional time, we will circle back to get additional questions answered. And please wait to be acknowledged prior to asking your question. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I just wanted to say we want to reach out with our hearts and our prayers to the people in the city of Montgomery who was affected by the incident that happened downtown. And getting to the game, it was a homecoming on campus. So, of course, we had a lot of atmosphere, great crowd the fans turned out really good. We played well, got off to a pretty good start. I would say that, let me say the first play was a long touchdown by the quarterback Cam. And so they got off to a good start at 7-0. We had to bounce back and put some points on the board. Andrew Body played like he usually does and is playing at a really high level. Did a really good job running the football with Carl Ligon and Marcus Harris and those guys, Holesclaw. And so defensively, definitely had trouble keeping up with those guys. They have a lot of speed, a lot of explosive players on offense. So it's something that we know we have to improve on. But overall, it was a good effort, and the guys played well. And so came out of it pretty injury-free, and now we're heading up to Jackson State. So it's their homecoming. So we know it'll be a big game for us. It's the next SWAC game, so we're excited about it.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Rob, how are you this morning?
Doing well. How's it going?
Doing well. So, Coach, you guys offensively have been doing really well this year. Obviously, but also in specifics, you guys have taken care of the ball well with only turning the ball over 3 times thus far with no interceptions thrown, which is exceptional through 5 games. But my question for you today is specifically about on your defensive side of the ball. What are you guys going to need to really work on and focus on this week to limit explosive plays and also be able to have some success against that run game of Jackson State?
Yeah, we'll have to be stout up front. I think the front 7 will have to play at a very high level. Defensive tackles, linebackers, I mean, they're going to challenge you. Really good offensive line. They have a couple backs that can run the football. They're explosive. They can go downfield. So it's a reason why they're putting up so many points. So I think for us, you have to win on first down. You can't have it where they can run and get 5 yards on first down. Now you're dealing with a 2nd and 4. That's going to be too hard for us to stop. So we have to win on first down and then try to create some turnovers.
Well, Coach, this is an exciting game for an exciting weekend. So looking forward to seeing it. Good luck to you and your entire team down there in Jackson this Saturday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach, I know you don't go in these matchups like this, but from a media perspective, this is a beautiful thing. We got number 1 versus number 2 in a lot of the rankings out there. Obviously, last year's national champion, and you've been building when you decided to come to Alabama State for matchups and games like this, where your team is in a position to even put that in there. And you've played obviously at high levels. This started in terms of going back to Coach Markham in terms of when he left Jackson State and came over to Alabama State from a historical perspective. What do you see when you bring all this together from a historical perspective? How do you appreciate that, but at the same time, put a focus on what it means just to play the game?
Yeah, so that's a very, very big question. So I try to keep it short. And I think the connection, like you said, from Jackson State to Alabama State goes way back. Houston Markham was my coach. He coached there for a long time with W.C. Gordon. John McKenzie, Stapleton, all of those guys were my coaches. They all played at Jackson State. When I came into the conference, Jackson State had won 28 straight SWAC games. They hadn't lost a SWAC conference game in 4 years. So they were the team that everyone was trying to beat. Everybody wanted to beat Jackson State. And so just historically, I mean, they've just always had some great teams, a lot of great offenses. And I think it'll be that type of matchup, thinking about playing against Jimmy Smith and the Lewis Tillmans and all of those guys. So, yeah, from a historical aspect of it, I'm definitely connected to that. But from the players on the field, which is what really matters, I mean, those guys are just focusing on trying to win one ball game. And so we know the history and the tradition that they have at Jackson State. It's their homecoming on top of that. But it's like you said, it's a great matchup. And I think that's why you want to coach in the conference. I think it's great to where the SWAC is going and with TC Taylor, everything he's doing with those guys to have them at a championship level. And for us, if you want to be a championship team, you have to beat the championship team. So I think it's one of those things where you just have to go out there and play. Looking forward to having a great game with a great atmosphere. And if you love SWAC football, HBCU football, just a football fan in general, I think it's going to be a great game to watch and come and see. And so I'm excited to be a part of it.
I appreciate you sharing that and taking us down that lane.
Absolutely.
Obviously, I understand you realize the importance of what you got to do in this matchup for your players to be focused. But allowing us from a media perspective to be able to share that from a cultural perspective is important. So I thank you for acknowledging that. Good luck this weekend and certainly look forward to this matchup, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach E-Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm well. How's it going?
I'm doing good. Everybody knows we talk about Andrew Body being the conductor of the whole offense. And we talk about the running game when it gets going for your offense. But a lot of people don't really talk about your offensive line, the big hall mollies. What credit do you give your offensive line, like, for this whole season, up to the season at this point right now?
Yeah, so for us, that's where it all starts. And those guys, Cam Smith, Desmond Daniels, Frazier, we got some older guys that have been playing really well. We got some Elijah Baker, who's been playing, a former walk-on kid. So, I was a former walk-on offensive lineman, so I'm partial to those guys. Michael Moore, was another former walk-on offensive lineman who's been starting and playing really well. Desmond Penn, all-conference guy, was a former walk-on offensive lineman. So we got 3 former walk-ons on that offensive line that have been playing their butts off. So I think you have a chip on your shoulder when you're walk-on and you're on the O-line, and now you're starting and playing at a high level. So, I mean, to me, that's where it all goes. We've been able to rush for over 300 yards the last 2 weeks, and some teams don't do that in the whole season, rushing for 300 yards in one game. So it starts with those guys. You know, when they play well, they get to that point, they get to go to Golden Corral. That's their treat. So they love that. So they're earned a couple of them, and so hopefully they'll earn another one this week. But it all starts up front. If those guys aren't playing well, then the rest of the offense won't look good.
All right, thank you for your time, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Good morning, Coach Robinson. This is Marvin Nichols from MTV Sports. Wanted to just ask you, your offense exploded for 559 total yards and 5 different players who scored rushing touchdowns. How proud are you of the depth and versatility in your offensive backfield?
Yes, I think the biggest part of it is just being unselfish. I mean, you have to realize that it's hard for one guy to run 20, 25 times a game for 14, 11, 12 games. So for us, I mean, you have to have a couple guys that can step up and play. But part of it is, you may have to give up some of your individual goals for the team goal. And those guys have been very unselfish. They block for each other. They cheer for each other. There's not any negativity in the room. And so that's just a special situation that doesn't happen on our team. So Coach Juwan Lewis, our running back coach, does a great job of making sure all of those guys are feeling a part of it, even though you may not get as many touchdowns or as many carries, because the bigger good of the team is what's really important. So for me as a coach, I just love to have those type of players, and they're all playing at a high level, and they really care about each other.
Outstanding. Good luck to you this Saturday.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Super fantastic, Coach. How are you?
Going well.
Yes, sir. Congratulations on the homecoming victory. I would imagine, Coach, that your players, your team is very excited after winning your homecoming game and now having to take on the defending national champions in this contest coming up this week. How do you as a coach manage that passion, that desire to play and keep it controlled and not allow it to harm your team?
Yeah, so I mean, I think our homecoming game was a big test. Just with Coach Woodie and Bethune-Cookman, we know they could score points, and they scored 35 of them. So it was one of those games where you never felt like you were really in control because they could always score so fast. And so, and everything that was going on for homecoming, so I was great. It was you wanted to have that test at home, but the biggest thing was you wanted to win. So we were just happy to get out of there with a win and then to enjoy the homecoming part of it. But I think that will prepare us for this week, which is just as big of a platform, just as big of a game because it's the next game. But we understand the importance of it just within the whole SWAC conference race. But to me, you just go out there and win today, and that's our motto. We talked about winning Sunday, come back, win Monday, go into class, have a great Tuesday, and just win each day. If you start worrying about Saturday, you won't be able to perform at a high level on Tuesday. So we try to segment it down to win each day and each part of practice and win each play. And so if you kind of keep it to that frame, then the game is just fun. Just go out there and play fun. You've been doing this since you were 6, 7, 8 years old. It's a big game, yes, but it's still a football game at the end of the day.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Appreciate it.
Final questions? All right, Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Sir, thank you. We now go over to Alcorn State and Coach Cedric Thomas. Once again, if you do have questions, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Thomas with Alcorn State. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, as always, appreciate you taking time to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Prairie View A&M.
Yes, sir. Finally got a chance to get it home. Off a really like the 4-game, traveling, game set up and festive the atmosphere. I thought the guys had a really good week of preparation and started out defensively, got some stops. It was a really good football game. It felt like a playoff, type atmosphere. And went in the half, I think maybe down 3 and that Perry team, really good football team, kept fighting, and so did we. And had a punt. I mean, not a punt, but an extra point blocked. That one, point that was kind of lingering, down the stretch, and had a chance with a long field goal that was wide right. And so I'm just proud of the guys, resilient effort, from those guys. And I thought they did a really good job of just maintaining, just a high level of fight and enthusiasm, trying to get that first win. And so just fell a little short, wide right as it relates to the kick, but I felt like we got better and got opportunity Saturday to do the exact same thing. So we'll get to work in the morning and start preparation for this Lincoln football team.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach said, how are you this morning?
Oh, I'm blessed.
All right, really good. So, Coach, when I asked you last week about your team's performance up to that point, you were very candid and you talked about how you're the captain of the ship. Everything starts and ends with you. And I appreciate your transparency. So this is a question about transparency again. So on that last drive, obviously Jalen on the broken play throws that great pass down there, down the side to Rush. You guys get in field goal range. You run for 3 yards. And then you attempt 2 passes, and one of them you guys get a sack that pushes a closer field goal out to a 49-yard field goal. So in that sense of mind, Coach, what was the idea for going for the 2 passes when you were already in field goal range?
Well, it depends on what's considered field goal range. We with the kicker every day. And so, if we felt like we was in field goal range, we would have ran it a couple more times, left it there. But Lorenzo Garcia is our bag-up kicker. Doesn't have a strong leg, and so we kind of set the parameters in pregame, what that field goal range, and we thought he was outside of it. And so wanted to get a little closer, knowing that we had 2 timeouts left. And so felt like we had some, a pass game opportunity to the boundary. And so that's ultimately why, the pass play was called.
Well, Coach, I always appreciate your transparency and all that good stuff. So good luck this week as you guys play Lincoln.
Appreciate it, sir.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Thomas, how you doing this morning?
Doing blessed, Doc.
Okay. Now this is found out about a couple of weeks ago about Lincoln University, California. They canceled the last 2 games. Have to be about players. Have you heard anything from the school about if they're still going to make that trip to Alcorn, or will they have to basically cancel?
A great question. Now, I've talked to the athletic director as of this morning. He assured me, that they have their travel situation and should be and will be showing up. But for us, Doc, like I told the guys, it can be Lincoln, Tesla, Mercury, Camry, whoever. Somebody we're gonna go out and play somebody on Saturday. We get opportunity to play. We would love for them to show up, but I think our administration does a really good job in making sure there's a background, a backup plan in place. But as of this morning, they're scheduled to arrive Friday and they'll be here Saturday for the game.
Okay. Hey, Andrew, do I have time for one more, or do I can wait to come back around?
If you could re-raise your hand, because there's 3 in the queue.
I got you.
Appreciate it, Doc. Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Great football game, Coach. If you could talk about Jalen Tolbert's play. You only scored 12 points again, even though you moved the ball up and down the field. Can you evaluate your quarterback play for us?
Still don't feel like he's playing at a high enough level to win. When you look at some of the upper echelon teams that's playing at a high level, it starts with the quarterback position. And so there's still some plays out there that we feel like he's leaving on the table, and we know he'll be chopping at the bits on Tuesday to continue to work and get better at it. He's leading and doing all the right things on the field. And so I know what type of player he can be and the way he prepares, but still, looking for a lot more. The same way, that everybody's looking at me, as the head coach, to do a lot more to make sure that, we win. And ultimately, that's the end goal, is to practice and prepare every single day to go out, for these young men to see what that winning feel like, and to put them in the best position to be successful. So we got another opportunity, and blessed to have that opportunity. And so we'll take full advantage of it, starting Tuesday morning.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Appreciate it, sir.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. How's it going this morning, Coach Thomas?
Oh, I'm blessed. About yourself?
Going well. I appreciate that. I want to talk about Jacoby Matthews. He had a big reception in the game, total 4 receptions for 88 yards, including 1 for 71 yards. How do you feel he's coming along in terms of his play this season?
Yeah, awesome. You know, we got to get it to him more. You know, he's one of those explosive kids that, you know, finally had opportunity to do things right on and off the field, and he was rewarded for it. But just one of those, you know, transfers that we expected to do a lot of good things for us, you know, when he came in. And so I'm just proud of him. You know, he comes in and talk, you know, expresses some of the things that, you know, he fights through, you know, as making this transition. So I'm just so excited about him to have opportunity to be successful. And so we got to feature him more, you know, just from explosive standpoint, and get him to football a lot more.
Thank you, Coach Thomas.
Appreciate it, sir.
Next question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Hey, Coach Thomas, this is Marvin Nichols from MTV Sports. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm blessed. About yourself?
Let me ask you this. What's your approach to keeping the team motivated and unified after such a close loss?
You know, that's been a recurring theme. So we apply a lot of it to just life, you know, things not just associated with football. And so, you know, bad things going to happen. I got kids who lost moms, dads, sisters, cousins, brothers, loved ones. And the sun still come out, the grass still growing. So we got to get up, and when our feet at the floor, we got an opportunity to right our wrongs. And so that's kind of the mantra we're using outside of just the wins and losses. We know it sucks, you know, not having to win, but my thing to them is, you know, what happens when things don't go the way it's supposed to in your mind, and you doing all you can do to make sure that change. Do you quit? You know, do you not come out to work? Do you not continue to walk this universe, hoping that things will be better? And so that's kind of our rally cry right now. As long as our feet on the floor, we can get up. We got opportunity to right these wrongs. And so what a better chance, you know, this week with another Saturday with a Lincoln football team that's coming in, and we got opportunity to get a win.
Outstanding. Well, keep pushing and keep on keeping on. Good luck to you.
Appreciate it, man. We'll do.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Oh, Coach Thomas, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
The defensive look that Prairie View presented was a drop 8 coverage zone. Did you have Jalen Tolbert? What did you have him allowed to where he could actually audible out of the offensive play calling to see if there was anything that was kind of out of place, or he sees some sort of change in that defense from Prairie View?
Yeah, it was some changes. You know, but they didn't play a lot of those looks like they normally would versus others, and I think it's just a testament to our running game. And so those coaches, man, did a really good job of changing some looks. You know, it wasn't always, you know, 3 high. Those guys kind of got in the box a little bit more, and kind of stymied the run game. And so kudos to that coaching staff. Those guys did an amazing job, you know, just from a game plan standpoint, to take away some things that we, you know, that we did and what we wanted to do. And so some of those plays, you know, do have, you know, 2-part reads to it, where he has opportunity to, you know, audible out and put the offense in the best play to be successful. And so, you know, he did the best thing that he could. And, you know, that defense had a lot to do with, you know, with us not being able to run the ball as well as we want, and you know, and us shooting ourselves in the foot. So it was an opportunity for the both of us to really just kind of you know, cancel each other out, and we just felt like, you know, we just didn't finish the way we needed to. But you know, even with that, Doc, you know, if we get our 1 point, you know, we get opportunity to play, you know, play in overtime, and that didn't happen.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Right. Last question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone in Lorman are well. Your ball club has been in every game with the exception of the game versus State. Can you just talk a little bit about the offense, the defense, and the special teams as you move into a homecoming game where Lincoln University, California comes in?
Yeah, you know, on the special team, you know, every week, you know, it's something. From week 1, you know, we snapped it over, you know, the punter's head, and knock on wood, you know, we had no more issues from the operation standpoint. last week, for the first time, the long snapper, he snaps it on the ground. And instead of having an opportunity to kick a field goal to go in overtime, we're down 4 and we don't get it done. And, this week, we scored a touchdown in the left guard. He takes a play off and, they get through and they block it. And so from a special team aspect, it just seemed like, it's just throwing it outside, every week. We're constantly trying to get these young brothers to understand the little things matter. And so I got to do a better job of setting the framework and the foundational piece that they get that, whether with personnel or just, some things, in-house to get them to understand that, hey, we got to do it the right way. Offensively, we feel like we got some weapons out there and got to be able to score points. You look at, other teams in the league, they scoring 50 and above and having some explosive, and we feel like we got the talent to do the exact same thing. So we got to be mindful of what we're doing to be able to get that outcome. And defensively, that really good Prairie View team, I thought we had a chance on Saturday. Got some really good stops overall, but still got a lot of work to do, and we're excited about the journey and continue to work. The guys are buying in, and so right now it's just not happening. We can't say we have faith, and when things not going well, let that deter our mind from believing that which is not seen. So the hard work will pay off, and what opportunity we have to go out and be able to do it with another Saturday.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Appreciate it, sir.
Coach, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Bethune-Cookman and Coach Woodie. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Woodie with Bethune-Cookman. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, appreciate your time joining us. If you could, start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing at Alabama State.
I tell you what, it was a great atmosphere. Coach Robinson, obviously welcomed us in. It was their homecoming. We started, with the ball on our own 15, and then we threw a pass, 85-yard touchdown to Malik Huggins from Cam Ransom, and then Alabama State, went on a 9-play drive, ending with a, passing touchdown, and then it just kind of progressed from there. Obviously, to beat a good team like that, you got to make sure that the 3 phases you win, and we didn't win in 3 phases. And hats off to Coach Robinson and his staff for finishing that game. But like I said, I'm proud of our guys. We fought until the bitter end.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Woodie, good morning. How are you?
Good, and yourself?
I'm doing very well. Again, this Saturday was another strong output for you guys offensively, gaining 569 yards. But my question for you ahead of this game this week with Southern, I know Southern has had its difficulties on offense, but you know that they have the ability with Trey Holly and Mike Franklin and some of those running backs to be able to break a few explosives at any time. Defensively, as you guys get ready for them this week, what are the things and what are the challenges that you are going to place before your defense to be able to combat and be able to defend them a little bit better in those areas than you have thus far?
Yes, and Coach Graves going to have those guys ready. I mean, they have a really good football team. They played really good opponents. We just have to be intent of the technique and fundamentals of what we're doing out there. We're going to work on that, all week. Actually, we started yesterday, and those type of things, we have to be intent on the technique and fundamentals. And it's all about tackling and fitting your gap. So we're definitely intentional on that.
All right, Coach. Appreciate you as always. Good luck this week against Southern.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. My colleague Cartwright asked a little bit about the defensive side of the ball. So I want to go back to the offensive side of the ball. Over the last 4 weeks games, you've been able to be extremely proficient in terms of what you're doing offensively. But I want to look at 3 particular players, if you would kind of break down their play. One is your running back, Ollie Scott Jr., who had 15 carries for 100 yards. And then the combination of what they're able to do with multiple receivers, but two of them particularly that had big numbers. Javon Ross, 9 receptions, 137 yards, and Malik Huggins, who had 7 receptions for 132 yards, both of them getting into the end zone. Talk about those 3 players and the combination of how they're making your offense go and be pretty lethal, at least in terms of putting up points.
Well, I tell you what, starting with Ali Scott, he's coming in his own. I mean, we kind of run running backs in by committee, and he's the type of guy that, he feels like he could be that every down back, and he's starting to play like it, really selfless type of guy that's progressing each game, and I'm proud of him. And then going to Malik. I mean, Malik is obviously, a guy that we put a whole lot on. I mean, a lot of guys, especially on the entire football team, not just the offense, they respect, what he does. I mean, he come to work and go to work. And then his counterpart, Javon Ross, a local guy, who's not big in stature, but he plays bigger than what he is, does things really well out in space, So just being able to create the synergy with those 3 guys is awesome. And like I say, they are not settling for what they're doing up until this point. They want to do more.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Good luck this week. Look forward to the matchup.
Thank you.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, can we get a status update on Cam Ransom? How's his health? And with that, can you also evaluate the play of Timmy McClain in this past game?
Well, I thought Timmy, other than the interception, I thought he did well, with 25, 34, 266 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and had 12 carries, 49 yards, on the ground. I just think that with Cam, he seemed like he was moving well yesterday. So, we will see from day to day, but as of right now, he should be ready.
Sounds good, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Daytona are well. When you think about the Southern Jags as they get ready to stop by, tell us a little bit about what you see with Southern on tape so far.
Well, there's a really good football team. I mean, obviously, like I said, Coach gonna have those guys ready to go. They got talent in all aspects, whether it's offense, defense, special teams. I mean, they're big, they're strong, and fast. And it's just a situation where we got to be ready on all cylinders, to beat a team like that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
This question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Good morning, Coach. This is Marvin Nichols from MTMV Sports. I want to say that, again, that I see that your team is really progressing, and I know you had a couple of years that were really, really tough. But I want to say that I want to ask you about the 85-yard touchdown pass on the opening play. That was amazing. How do you build more consistency around those explosive moments?
Well, I mean, just putting them in those, like I say, situations in practice and then seeing it, really come to part when it needs to come, when it's counted. I just think that gives, key guys, consistency, confidence. I mean, it's a really good situation. But like I say, you expect those type of plays when you practice them.
Yes, well, that was amazing, and good luck to you at Southern.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you all.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next we go over to Florida A&M and Coach Colzie. Once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Colzie with Florida A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, man. How's everybody doing?
Doing great, Coach. As always, we appreciate you taking time to join us, and obviously an unexpected bye week for your program this past week. So if you could just start us out, just kind of assessing this past week for your program.
I think you just said it, unexpected bye week, but we used And we were using Tuesday to get ready for Valley, and then obviously the unexpected bye, and then we used Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to prepare for a very, very good North Carolina Central team, and that's what we did, and get ready for the questions.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Colzie, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Wayne. What's going on, boss?
Hey, man, good as always. All right, so Coach, as you guys get ready for this North Carolina Central team coming to Bragg Stadium, I want to go back to something you said after the Alabama State game. You said that we are going to turn it around. Mm-hmm. And if we don't turn it around, my blank won't be here. So specifically, what are the things that starting this week that you guys need to do to start turning it around in this game against North Carolina Central?
Well, I mean, I just think we got to be more consistent. You try to find reasons for why things may not be going in the way you want them to be, and then you look at kind of where we are stat wise. You look at kind of where obviously looking at our team last year, we had a lot of turnovers, and this year we're in the plus range as far as turnover margin goes. But we've only turned the ball over once offensively. I mean, and then obviously with this job, right? You got to win. You got to win to stay afloat. And 1-3 is not acceptable here at this institution. Not acceptable for myself. Not acceptable for that locker room. So, I just think that those are things. Obviously, you say after a game, but I think for the most part, to stay as the head coach at most universities, you got to win and have success to continue to be in that seat. So just putting some pressure on myself, making sure that we understand what's at stake, and obviously just as a staff and as a football team. We need to play better, and that means if we're going to play better, that means we need to coach better as well.
I appreciate you as always, Coach. Good luck this week in your game.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everyone on the highest of 7 hills are well. Talk a little bit about the 3 phases: offense, defense, and special teams as you gear up to host Central as they come in this weekend.
Well, I think that's just collective, right? I mean, they all go hand in hand. I was asked today, for a grade of what I thought we were right now, and it's to me it's a D. We're a D across the board is the way I feel. When we're not playing well at certain times, we're not being very, we're not playing well during certain situations, but for what it's worth, right? I think I said this to you when you were here at Alabama State. I don't blame the kids, but I do think, our execution needs to be better. Which in most points means that as coaches we need to prepare them better. If we only prepare them for 15 things, or we only prepared them 15 times and we didn't have success, that means we should have prepared them an extra time. So I think that for us, we need to be better in a lot of facets, and we used these past 3 days, during this unexpected bye week to work on some of the things as well as working on a very, very good North Carolina Central team.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Always blessed. Good to hear from you, James.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Perry, what's up, boss?
Coach, you talk about pressure and sitting in that chair that you sit in. You've got a very good North Carolina Central team coming to Bragg Memorial. If things don't go as planned for your program, you will have gone from the program with the longest winning streak in the nation to losing 3 home games in a matter of 2 seasons. Is that added pressure from your perspective, and how do you go about handling that?
Well, I mean, is it added pressure? The pressure's there. I think ultimately, right? You want to make sure you play well, not just at home, but also on the road. You want to play collectively well throughout the season. I think that, you got a very, very good team coming in here, as you mentioned, in North Carolina Central. I'm just looking forward to us. I just want us to play well, try to make sure we're playing a complete game, whether it's in all 3 facets, right? We just haven't been able to put it together. That's why you get an opportunity every week, right? It's not about what we did against Alabama State. It's not about what we did against Howard. It's going to be about what we do against North Carolina Central. So I think that, we've done a good job, I feel, this past week preparing. But this is a good team, right? They're coming in. They're one of the top 3 teams in HBCU. There's a strong possibility they may represent the MEAC in the Celebration Bowl. But all that doesn't matter if we don't play well. And again, that's making sure we have the right game making sure we have the right game plan, putting our guys in the best situation for us to have success. And if we do that, right, then I like where we're at. But if we have penalties or can't convert on third down, whether it's offensive or defensively, we got to play complementary football a little bit better. That's something that we should continue that we stressed last week, which we'll continue to stress this week, and most importantly, continue to stress on Saturday.
Good luck to you this week, Coach.
I appreciate you.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Colzie, how you doing today?
Doc, what's up, man?
I'm doing good. First and foremost, let me send my condolences to you and your family. I know you wasn't on the last time, but the game starts off in between the trenches, offensive, defensive line, but we want to be more focused on your defensive line because they haven't been able to generate any type of pressure on opposing offenses. What are some things you want to try to implement into this game for North Carolina Central, especially with that front four?
Well, as you noticed, we've been without probably one of the best guys all year, and it looks like we'll be without him again, this week, right? But just trying to make sure we stay on our gaps. We'll finally get one of our starting D tackles, two of our starting D tackles back with Cam Donald and Clyde Pender, two guys that we were really, really dependent on and haven't necessarily played all year as well. So, we get really excited to get those two guys back. And, obviously the guys that have been playing have been trying to give as much as they can, but, just getting two veteran interior guys back to kind of hold, give us probably, in my opinion, the best opportunity to hold up with as good as the offensive line that we'll see in the country, right? So North Carolina Central, they're going to run the football. And they do a great job of being balanced, have a great running back. But I think us being able to bring back, right, or being able to bring back some of our healthy players definitely gives us some help, and most importantly, may give us an edge because that we're going to need everybody on the interior line for this type of group that's coming this Saturday.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Any final questions? All right, Perry Daniels.
Coach, would you have rather had been able to get right back on the field and play a game after that Alabama State game, or is it more advantageous to have that week off and prepare for this North Carolina Central team?
Well, I mean, obviously, when you lose, right, you want to get back on the field again, right? And I think we both would probably agree to that. But it was great for us just to get those last 3 days in. I don't mean to answer both questions, give you both answers.
No,
but,
I appreciate it. That's right.
You didn't play well against Alabama State. Hell, we wish we could have played, Monday. You know what I mean? But just being able to really, really work on some things last week, it helped us, right? And hopefully it resonates for what we're doing this upcoming Saturday. But for the most part, man, obviously. When it entailed for us not playing and all the other some of the distractions we may have had, but eager to be back to be back in Bragg this upcoming Saturday though.
Great, thank you, sir.
I appreciate you.
Final questions, Coach. As always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speak to you again next week.
Hey, appreciate you guys, man. Good luck to everybody this weekend.
Appreciate it. All right, we are a minute or two ahead of schedule. We'll pause here just for a minute. We'll be joined by Coach Mickey Joseph next. Thank you for your patience. Once again, if you do have questions for our coaches, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature, get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question. If you see several questions already there in the queue, if we've got additional time, we'll work our way back around to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Joseph with Grambling State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us. Obviously, a bye week for your Tigers this past week. So if you could just start us out by assessing the bye week.
Well, this week we wanted to focus on ourselves. We want Grambling versus Grambling, like I was telling kids, you versus you, and try to get better in the aspects, try to do our best to get better in third downs on the offense side of the ball and try to get more gap integrity on a defense side of the ball. Also, try to give some of the young players reps that with this stretch is going to have to help us with some getting in the game and giving us some solid reps. So we tried to do that, and also we tried to rest some of the players that need to be rested. But I thought it was a successful off week. We gave them off a couple of days to just to go see family. Because sometimes even at coaches we put family behind the university, and I tell a lot of young coaches, if I had to do it over again, I would never do it. You always can go get another job, but you can't get another family. So we try to let them go see their family, let the coaches go spend time with their family. So I thought it was a success.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Joseph, how are you, man?
I'm good. How you doing, Wayne?
I'm doing well. So you guys, after your bye week now, you're getting ready to play this Texas Southern team that just played its best game of the season.
Absolutely.
They rolled up 557 yards of total offense and 51 points. Of course, you know all that. But even knowing all this, in consideration to your team and ZT said in his confidence, building him up, what are some of the things that you guys need to do to get him comfortable ahead of this game against Texas Southern?
Well, the first thing we got to do, we got to get Zay comfortable in the pocket and trusting that he's protected. Instead of running out the pocket, step up in the pocket, deliver the ball, get on time with it. And Zay understands that. He understands. And also we have to do a good job of running the football, identifying the box. I think if we can run the football, we can help him. He's not a kid that you want to drop back 40 to 45 to 50 times a game. And I think we threw it 40 against PV, and that's 2 minutes too much for him. We got to establish a run game for him, but also we got to get him comfortable in the pocket. So we worked with the offensive line this week. Just where you're at. You need to be at 8 yards. If you're at 10, you're on your own. So you need to be at 8. If you're at 8, you need to step up to 6 and drill the ball. So working on his fundamentals this week, and people understand Zay's young. Zay's only a sophomore, so he's still learning. He's still learning the game from the quarterback aspect and how we teach it over here. So Zay's gonna be fine. And I thought we had a good week, trying to refine that. But also with Texas Southern, they look really good, and but that's why they call it Wild Wild West. A team can look like bad one week, and the next week they look like superstars. So that's why you got to try to stay consistent, because you never know. Well, you never know what you're gonna get. So you got to stay consistent as a team to be able to play teams like that.
Well, Coach Joseph, I appreciate you as always, and good luck to you guys as you guys take on Texas Southern down there in the hole.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Next question goes to Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody at Grambling are well. Talk about your defensive line, your linebackers, and your corners, the backside of the defense. Just talk a little bit about the defensive side of the football as you have another opportunity this weekend.
Well, we got to do what we coach to do. As a player, you got to take accountability. If you did it right on Tuesday, you did it out on Wednesday, and you did it right on Thursday, why are you doing it right on Saturday? Well, maybe you're not the guy for the position. Maybe we got to find another guy. So that's why we rep young kids this week, to see if young kids will take the coaching and believe in the coaching and not do your own thing. So many times kids come out and they want to just get stats. I keep telling them, I said, stats won't get you to the NFL. Ability going to get you to the NFL. I know a lot of kids that have stats and it's still sitting on the side of working at Wendy's. But we got to do a better job as coaches, and myself, the first, to take the charge. Again, gap integrity on the defensive line and gap integrity with the with the linebackers. And for us, the corners, they're some of the most talented kids on our team. But they got to stop taking chances, and they got to do what we say. If it's quarters, it's quarters. If it's a third, it's a third. But that's on the kids, and that's on us. So we both had to come to Jesus meeting this week. So I think we can rectify this problem and get this problem figured out.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Joseph, how you doing this morning?
Doc, I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. That was the realest quote I ever heard right there. Stats don't get you in the NFL, but ability does.
Exactly. I talk to a D coordinator every day. Now, shouts out to my brother Vance from beating the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday.
Going into this game, it's a homecoming game against Texas Southern. What are some things you tell your players to try not to keep their mind focused on the game in the week at hand, and kind of not get it involved, too much into the homecoming festivities?
Well, the thing, I think, they were able to get involved with it. Sunday, I think it started, and then today they're gonna have something. But now they gotta block out the noise. They gotta be selfish when it come to family and everybody else and say, hey, I gotta get the tickets done on Wednesday because Thursday I have to focus, Friday I have to focus. So they gotta block out the noise. There's a lot going on. So, but what I'm telling them is that this week you got to take control of it. You got to lead the charge when it comes to getting things right and blocking out the noise. There's a lot going on, but it's the same thing. 2 weeks ago at PV, we didn't do a good job of blocking out the noise. This week, hopefully, we can block out the noise. It's homecoming. It's a big game, but like I tell them, the activities are not for you guys. It's for the alumni, and y'all not alums yet. So hopefully they listen, and we'll get back at it on the practice field tomorrow.
Thank you, Coach. Tell your brother he gave me an early birthday gift with that win.
Hey, listen, hey, you know me. I love it when the Joseph can win. Same
All
thing for my
right.
cousin Terry. He won at the Saints. So shout out to them two boys.
All right. You have a good one, Coach.
Thank you.
This question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm good, Terrence. How you doing?
I'm good. Hey, I just want to ask you, when you look at TSU's defense, on film, what jumps out at you?
It's an NFL scheme. It's an NFL scheme. It's complicated. It doesn't look complicated, but they're complicated. But they have outstanding linebackers. They got Joe back there. Joe played good ball for us. Now he's playing for them because of the transfer portal. But the D line are solid too. But it's an NFL scheme, and what you see is what you get with these guys. But what they do, they don't do it much, but they do it well. So that what makes them complicated because they do it well. So we got to figure out what we can do against them, and we know where they're going to be at. We just got to be able to execute. But it's a solid defense, and I'm sure with Dishman background, that's what he wants to do is do it NFL style. But it's a strong defense, and we like I said, they had a great outing last week, so we got to make sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's this week.
What kind of problems does that linebacker core pose?
Well, they're big and they can run and they get there in a hurry. So that's even when they blitz, they come in and they get there, they're long. And that's that in length. And that's what I like to have on this team. I love length because length sometimes can hurt you when you're a shorter player. So they play with length, but they play well and they're well coached. So I like the linebacker core.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
This question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach. Good morning. How you doing?
Hi, how you doing? Good morning to you.
Coach, a couple of weeks ago, you mentioned that you prefer veteran transfer players. So with that in mind, how tough is it to blend veteran transfers with existing players who have been there throughout the process? Is that a tough thing to do?
Yeah, it is tough. It is tough, but like I was telling the kids, they're not mature enough to handle this setting that the NCAA has put in. They're not mature enough. They're not mature enough to know that I'm a sophomore and I'm gonna bring in a grad kid, and that grad kid you're gonna battle him. You think, okay, I'm next. There's no such thing in college football that I'm next with this transfer portal. So it's hard to blend. It's hard to have culture. I think Lane Kiffin said it 2 years ago. There's no such thing as culture in college football anymore because you have so many turnover on the rosters. So you just got to get them to play together. So you got to kind of have the NFL model. Come in and do your job, battle for position. Your value is you're not in charge of your value. We're in charge. We're gonna tell you what your value is. Because everybody thinks they like I think my value is $3 million a year, but that's not what Gramblin's paying me. So the value is controlled by us. And that's what these kids don't understand. But also with the young kids, we gave our young kids some reps last week. And some of them see why they're not playing, and some of them, maybe out of two, maybe two of them showed us that they should be playing. But at the end of the day, it's hard to do it. But our kids do get along because we do tell them, hey, there's your teammates, but you got to kind of treat it like the NFL. Turn that down, please. It's my daughter.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. I'm on the phone, mommy.
Last question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Good morning, Coach. This is Queen Marva from MTMV Sports. Happy homecoming, Coach.
I know I'll see you here. I know you're coming.
Quick question. What role will tackling and gap integrity play in slowing down Texas Southern's run game and short passing attack?
Well, I think if you look across the country, from the NFL on down to Division II, tackling's a problem just because of the model was set up that you only can have 2 or 3 tackling days in camp. That you can take people down to the ground. So you got to really work the fundamentals. Tackling probably going to get better in about 2 more weeks, but you look across the board, everybody's missing tackles. And we missed a bunch of tackles, and we got to do better jobs. So we worked on last week with the young kids. It's just wrapping up running your feet. But gap interrogate is going to be big this week just because, they're going to run the football. They're going to run the football. So gap interrogate is going to be important. So we're gonna get them together, and we're gonna work our tails off this week, and we're gonna try to put the great product on the field and not disappoint people for homecoming.
That sounds like a great plan. We don't want any big runs in front of the homecoming crowd. And I will speak to you midweek this week,
I
one-on-one.
appreciate you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Coach, appreciate your time as always. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Appreciate you guys, and everybody. Good luck this week. Go get them.
Appreciate it, Coach.
All right.
All right, next we're going to go over to Arkansas Pine Bluff and Coach Hampton. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking time to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Texas Southern.
Yeah, we went down to Houston, played Texas Southern. Coach Dishman had his team; they were ready to roll. And you saw what it was. It was the Wild Wild West. Man, it started out the game well. We got a stop, and they punted the ball to us, and they got a stop, and they went down and kicked the field goal. We got the ball back, and we missed the field goal. Then they get the ball, and we get a pick in the red zone. We missed another field goal. Had a chance to be up 6-3 in the second quarter, but his team kept fighting. And then, man, we just the dam kind of broke on us. We had a botch to kickoff return, get them the ball on the +17. They scored, made it 17-0. Like 8-9 minutes in the second quarter. And then, I mean, we couldn't stop the bleeding. So hats off to Coach Dishman. They played complementary football in all 3 phases: offense, defense, special teams, and they deserve to win. And so we got to bounce back this week and get ready to go.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Hampton, good morning to you. Tough loss for you guys, obviously, but I know that many times through this profession, I know that you have some of these games where the team just out executes you and you just don't have it. Would you say, is it fair to just say that this is just a game for you guys that's just one of those flush it games, because it's just not really much else you can really say about what happened? It's just that Texas Southern just played its best that night?
Yeah, I mean, they did, but I mean, we had a lot to do with it. We didn't play very good. I mean, I've watched this film 3 times already. Just got done watching it with the offensive staff. I mean, I couldn't sleep Saturday night, didn't sleep Sunday. And yeah, it is one of those ones you want to flush. But then you still got to be able to take out all the good things. We're able to run the football. Had some guys that were open. They're good on defense. Long, athletic guys, but we had a chance to make plays. Just didn't get it done. And then on defense, man, we had guys we missed more tackles. I mean, guys right there in position. Man, we made them look like the best team in America, and they took advantage of it. Running back ran hard. Quarterback played an exceptional game. And we just didn't do our job. And on special teams, we made mistakes that we haven't made since I've been here. And so, yeah, we want to flush it, but we're going to give them credit too. They had a lot to do with that. And but we'll bounce back and we'll be ready to roll.
Well, Coach, in a year where there's been a lot of penalties throughout the SWAC, you guys only had 3 of them. So that is one thing you could say is positive. So good luck this week in your homecoming effort against Westgate Christian.
Appreciate it, Mr.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on campus are well. Talk a little bit about going forward and the opportunity you have this week in your quarterback room.
Hey, at the end of the day, man, when you lose a game the way we did, and none of us expected that. I mean, we were all shell-shocked. You just got to get back to the field, man. If I could have, I would have went back out there on Sunday morning, but that's illegal NCAA. And then we had that 8-hour bus ride back on Sunday morning. If I could have, we got back here at 5 o'clock. If I could have went to the field, I would have. It's just a bad loss. But again, that's what college football is about. You got to show up and earn the right to win every week. And so we're highly motivated here as coaches, and our players, they need to understand what we need to do every day in order to continue to move this program forward. So, it's a lot of disappointed people in that locker room, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be what you do this week. It's a new week, new beginnings. And so we're excited about the opportunity to get back on the field. Then excited to be at home, this week and sleep in your own bed and got some people that are cheering for you. Obviously playing at Houston Christian Stadium, Husky Stadium, man, it wasn't a lot of people there. That's no excuse because Texas Southern was there, and that's all you need to be able to do is spot the ball. And so we'll be better this week, and we're looking forward to getting our football team better.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
Yes, sir. You too.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good afternoon, Coach. I'm going to follow up on James's question there about your quarterback room and your quarterback play. Can you evaluate that along with your receivers?
Yeah, our quarterback, Christian Peters, man, he's one of the best quarterbacks in this league. I mean, he gives us a chance to win every game. He can run, he can throw it. But again, Texas Southern, man, they got guys that look like NFL guys. Coach Dishman and his staff, if you go look at their defense, they look like they're supposed to look. I mean, at the Power 4 level. The D-line is big and fast, athletic. They can run. The linebackers, they're long, athletic. And then they got some corners, man. They understand where to be. They don't make a lot of mistakes, so they make you beat them. And so our quarterback did a good job. We had one turnover at the end. He shouldn't have threw it. And I think it was fourth quarter they were able to pick it off. But our quarterback was able to get away from them and do some things. We didn't run the correct routes all the time. We need to convert some different things. But we'll get all that fixed. But hats off to them. If everybody's watched Texas Southern play, you realize, like, when they played Prairie View, that was a good game. Prairie View scored at the end of the game to win that game. Texas Southern's a good football team, and I'm disappointed we didn't match their energy, and that's on us as coaches. We got to take some responsibility in that, but we'll be better moving forward.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck at homecoming.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Good morning, Coach. So you mentioned a bit ago, excited to have a home game, be at home, sleep in your own bed, all those things. You guys have been on the road a lot, and I know in November, you're going to end the season with 2 road games, but in between that, you got 4 of your next 5 games at home starting this week. Got an opportunity to play in front of the home fans, not have to travel for a little while. How important is it to take advantage of these home games and try to stack up some wins at this point?
Hey, you're right, Tanner, man. We have to be able to, take care of home field advantage. Our fans, our people, man. When I pulled into work this morning, you got all the RVs out there. It's homecoming, man. All the black and golds around, and this is what you want. Obviously, we went down and had the Southern Heritage Classic. That feels like home, but this here is home, and so our players should be excited, man. Your peers get a chance to watch you play. Student athletes coming back. Like, this is one of the best times of the year. And then if you're able to get on a roll here at home, and we got some really good opponents that travel well coming up here. And so it's just exciting to be able to get out here and play in front of your fans. I think people are strained a little more, and it just means more when you're at home. Not that it doesn't mean the same on the road, but you just got an extra boost of confidence to play in front of the home fans. And so we're excited about that.
Thank you, Coach.
This question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach Hampton, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Hey, when you looked at TSU's linebacker core, what was it about them that posed the most problems in your mind?
Man, it's funny that you say that. Me and Coach Dishman was talking before the game, man. And I just started looking at the players like, you look at the sizes, before you ever play the people. And then, man, I'm looking at these guys. I'm like, man, I've been at Florida State. Coach, our linebackers didn't look like that. I've been at Oregon. Our linebackers didn't look like that. Man, they have a roster of guys that look like they look on Sundays. And so that was impressive. But again, our kids did a good job. We were able to run the football. Don't get me wrong. We're going to give them a lot of credit, but we were able to do some things. But they have done a good job of making their team look like a defensive football team is supposed to look. And so they present you with some problems, but our quarterback did a good job. We were able to get some runs. I think both backs had over 70 yards. So we were able to do some things. We just wasn't able to convert on some third downs to keep the chains moving. And then, for us defensively, man, we just didn't tackle well. Had guys there that was able to make the plays, so we just got to be better moving forward.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach Hampton, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, y'all be blessed.
Thank you. We're going to go over to Mississippi Valley State. Coach Buckley, once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Buckley with Mississippi Valley State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Good morning.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Obviously, an unexpected bye week for your program this past week. So if you just start us out by kind of assessing this past week for your program.
Yes, it was a surprise to us that we couldn't get the game in. So we just took last week and really tried to get caught up. Just remembering when I took this job, it was February. Didn't get a full staff to really March. So these bye weeks, gives us a chance to catch up. I feel like we're heading in the right direction. And I'm looking forward to showcasing, going out and playing this weekend.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Buckley, good morning to you.
Morning.
Obviously, this has been a roller coaster week for you guys, I guess, if that's the best way to say that. So with this roller coaster of preparing for FAMU, then you're not preparing for FAMU. Now you're preparing for, you were preparing for somebody A&M.
Yes.
So with all this being said, Coach, what did you learn through this whole experience this week, whether it's business, whether it's structure, or whether it's just the ability to shift on the fly with you and your staff?
Well, you have to do that. Just put your head down. This is the football season, and you got to be ready to take advantage of every situation. And when the game got moved, we just took advantage of getting caught up on some stuff that we didn't get a chance to do. Felt like can improve our ball club.
All right, Coach. I appreciate you. Good luck this week up there at Alabama. And
yes, thank you.
Question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Afternoon.
Coach, during this off week, your offensive line, did you get a chance to work with them? Currently, they rank 125th out of 125 in sacks allowed in FCS.
Yes.
How did you address that in the off week?
Well, we've been addressing it every week. Sometimes it's, it goes down to Jimmy's and Joe's, right? Sometimes, and you try to put your best foot forward, schematically change some things. You put them, when you know you're struggling at a certain spot, that's where the coaching comes in. That's where schemes come in, where you have to help those guys out. We have 3 true freshmen that are starting for us. So they need help overall from us, from them, schematically, you name it. We need to get it done.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody at Valley are well. Can you talk about thriving through adversity, where you have a game that doesn't go off and it's rescheduled, and then also Mr. Brown in your quarterback room?
All right, I think we may have lost connection. Coach, we'll try to get Coach back on the line. We'll pause momentarily.
Doesn't go off and it's rescheduled, and then also Mr. Brown in your quarterback room.
Hey guys.
Okay, we can hear you now, Coach.
Okay, y'all. It went out. I don't know what happened.
Sure.
My thing is upside down. There we go.
No.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem, Coach. We'll get James to restate his question. James, can you restate that question, please, for Coach?
Definitely, Coach. I hope you and everybody at Valley are well. Can you talk a little bit about thriving through adversity, staying the course when you have a game that is rescheduled to the back end of the season, and then also your quarterback room, Mr. Brown, and talk a little bit about that, gentlemen?
Well, Josh is getting better every week, and Brandon is ready to go too. So, last week you could see the progression of that. We felt like we left a bunch of points out there against TSU. That hopefully we narrowed that down, and just adversity. If you at Valley, this has been an up and down roller coaster. Organization for almost 30 years. So you know, getting here, like I stated earlier, late as I did, and trying to put together something that's respectful and heading in the right direction. I like what we're doing. We are moving in the right direction. Now we have to be able to close the door and win a few ball games.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Mo Carter.
Hey, good morning, Coach. Hope you're well. I know you. Hey, look, I know you had a little extra time to prepare for your next game. Want to know what do you think about the quarterbacks for Alabama A&M when you take a look at them? Of course, you have Cornelius Quad Brown, number 10, but of course, Eric Handley, number 8, has also been seeing some time and whatnot. So when you guys look at the film, what stands out to you about both of those gentlemen?
Well, both of them they compete. Once you, that's the key to everything. No matter how big or fast, if you compete, if you're a competitor, then you're gonna do the little things that are gonna make you better. You're gonna do the extra studying. You're gonna do the extra lifting. You're gonna make that throw. You're gonna run the ball when opportunity presents itself. So I think all around you have to use the word compete. No different than I tell our guys. Compete. Be a competitor, and all the other stuff will take care of itself.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
This question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill, inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Buckley, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well.
Can you give me a little more information in terms of when you have sudden changes like you did outside of your control? What do you do in that process to try to normalize it as much as possible and get back to some things that I'm sure coaches like to do, which is coach the game of football and build young men?
Yes, you know, that's the key, man. We got on that grass. We had a little live scrimmage. We had some areas that we've really been struggling in, some special team issues turning into live. Just open up for competition. This was all kind of spring ball moment, not only for the players, but for the coaches too. Just overall deep dive into what we was doing. How can we get better? Keep pushing this thing down the road. And let's get going. We feel like we are moving in the right direction. Identify who can make plays, and get us where we need to be. That's what last week was about.
Certainly. Appreciate that insight, Coach. Keep pushing forward. Looking forward to the matchup and look forward to talking to you next week. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. You too.
Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we now go over to Prairie View A&M. And once again, if you do have questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Jackson with Prairie View A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, appreciate you taking time to join us. If you could, start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing at Alcorn State.
Yeah, we made our first trip outside of the state as a collective together. Went down to Alcorn State, really well-coached football team. Coach Thomas does a really good job of getting his guys ready to go. We were able to pull out a victory. Had some offensive issues that thank God it's the bye week. We get a chance to get looked at. We can get some things corrected, get some guys back off this bye week. But I was really proud of our defense and the way that they played and the way that they've been playing. A lot of guys stepped up and made plays. Had the leading rusher in the league last week, and I don't think they had 100 yards as a team. And so, got to capitalize on, got to keep getting better on defense, capitalize on some of those areas that we've been good at. Certainly, fix some of the issues that we've had in the first 6 weeks. Bye week came at the right time, and we're looking forward to working on us.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Jackson, how are you this morning?
Morning.
So I'm not going to ask you about your passing game this week. I promise. So you're very prophetic. You said to me when you talked to me during SWAC Media Day, you said we have a bye week that comes at the right time. And so now you have this bye week that comes in between what's going to be a very big opportunity that you'll have at Southern after it. But now as you head on this bye week, focusing about your team itself, can you clarify a few of those things on offense that you guys need to take a look at and get some adjustments to?
Yeah, while we're stalling out, we were really good on the minus side of the field. We got to the plus side of the field, what we call the fringe, right above the red zone. We just didn't finish. We had some errors, some critical errors that stopped us from finishing, and they did a really good job. They gave us some looks that we had seen, but we hadn't seen in those situations, and so they credit to them. But we've got to stop stalling out. We stalled out a lot this past week, and that's probably was the most disappointing part of the day. That we got the ball moving on the minus side of the field. We're running the ball, we're throwing the ball. We kind of could do what we wanted to do with both quarterbacks. And then we stalled out, and we just got to figure out why that. I just got out of an offensive meeting on why we stalled out. And so it's my job to make sure we take a look at all areas of the program. That's an area that's of concern because it's of our last game and some issues before. And so we certainly got to look at it so we can capitalize on the opportunity of the next game that we play.
All right, Coach. Well, enjoy your bye week, and next week we'll talk about that next game.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Yeah, Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I want to talk about from the defensive side. It's been very effective in terms of being able to, shut teams down, rushing the ball in a lot of ways, but particularly from where it seems to be important in stopping them from scoring throughout the season. But with that being said, I know defenses and coaches oftentimes look at that as a collective effort, but are a couple of players that you're able to name that's been able to be kind of the key in making it as effective as it's been thus far this year. And the second part of that is to frame this as an open week, and you get into some self-searching about what that looks like, but wanted to let you know that there's coaches out there that are looking forward to see if they can get you on the schedule. Trey Oliver at North Carolina Central University said he's reaching out, so I thought I'd mention it to you as a plug.
Yeah, I'll answer your first question. Defensively, Trevor Randall and Eric Zachary and Malik Mason, and, Sterling Roberts, those have been guys. Kennedy Parker, it's been a collective effort, but a lot of those guys have had really big games here and there, even in our non-successful outcomes. Those guys have still played extremely well. I think the one thing that's different defensively is a lot of those guys have played together before, and so they knew what they were getting into, and they were here in the spring, and so things were able to be set. We brought some guys with us from Valdosta that had played in the same defense, and so they knew what the expectations were, and they were able to get off on a better foot and a better start than guys that weren't here. And so been really proud of those guys for the way that they come to work. They are a in spite of unit. Doesn't matter where you put the ball. You can hear them talking about it, and they certainly want to play defense. And they tell themselves that they ride the defensive bus in order to play the defense. And so they certainly don't shy away from any opportunity, and hopefully that continues. As far as scheduling and things of that nature, everybody got my number. Everybody know where we are. We don't hide. We're on social media. We're everywhere. We want to play whoever want to play us, and we want to play those that might not want to play us. Prairie View A&M is not the same Prairie View A&M. We will play anybody in the country. Just don't make it seem like we got to come to you all the time. Come on to this hill. And so you tell Trey, which he got my number. I don't know why he just didn't call me. We're open, whatever week you want to play.
I'll make sure I pass the information on and share the number just in case he's lost it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
And just to clarify, Coach Oliver did say he's looking for a home and home, so he's not concerned about coming to you as well. Let's talk about your quarterback system. You seem to be committed to a 2-quarterback system, and Cameron Peterson is throwing the ball at an extremely high level. That pass for your touchdown, he dropped that right into the bucket. It was a perfect pass. But yet you still seem to be committed to your 2-quarterback system. Evaluate Cameron Peterson's quarterback play for him.
We're 4-2. Nobody's quarterback play is good enough. And so that's how we look at it. You know, I'm a little different. Like I picked the quarterback just so everybody's clear, everybody understands. And, you know, people get mad at our offense and this, that, and the other. I picked the quarterback. So if you're gonna be mad at me. We're gonna play the best person that helps us win that day. And we've got 2 guys that we feel really good about. There's a third in there too that we feel good about. And so because of what we do, you know, before I got in this league, I learned that nobody had a quarterback this time last year. People playing running backs at quarterback and all that stuff. And when you do when you add the quarterback to the run game, we're not going to put our whole season on one guy. Just not going to do it. Not when we have 2 capable guys. And so they complement each other. Where one doesn't do something well, the other one does. We've got to get it right as a coaching staff on what that mix looks like. That's what's on me. We've got to get that right. And we're going to take this bye week to figure out what dosage of who to give to what team on whatever day that we play another team. And so I like where both of them are, but nobody's great because we're not sitting here 6-0. We're not. Quarterbacks are judged off wins, not how many yards did they throw. And so we're 4-2 as a program. We got a long way to go, and we got a tough back stretch of 6 games that we got to get ready for. And so everybody gets a D. Everybody gets a D because we're 4-2.
Well, thank you for that, Coach. Congratulations on your win. Not a whole lot of teams get off the reservation with their scalps.
Thank you.
The question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody there are well. Talk a little bit about putting your stamp on this program. You've done so. And just the fact that you're building this championship culture and in this environment, it's conducive to success, winning and getting an education. But so far, what do you see?
You know, we're not where we want to be yet. We're operating at about 65, 70% of where we want to be as a program. So our whole program isn't here yet. And it takes time. And my grandma used to say the best food is slow cooked. But we really feel like we can be successful right now. The way we program our guys and the way our guys adhere to what we do in our program have allowed us to be successful in close games. And so we certainly believe we're on the right track. We're not going to sit here and say we've arrived by any means. We haven't. We just try to stay basic over here, man, and make sure we're doing the things that help the Panthers win. And, you know, some people say wins are ugly. Well, that came from a person that hadn't won very much. We've been fortunate enough to win at a lot of places on a lot of different levels, and we value every single one of them. And so we can get out of somewhere with a 1-point win, which we've done twice this year. We take it as a win because that means we won and that person lost. Well, that's the goal of every game. And so putting our stamp on it, we ain't all the way stamped yet. And it's going to take some time before we get there. But I do like the progress that our guys have made since we got here in January, since we got here in fall camp. And we look forward to evaluating ourselves over this bye week and continuing to get better.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck going forward.
Thank you.
This question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Morning.
Hey, Mr. Hill kind of stole my question, but what I would love to know too is just kind of when you look at this team and the progress it's made, during this time you've been with him. What are you most proud of about this team? I mean, what and what it exemplifies.
Yeah, I'm really proud of how we ball, man. Like our guys, you know, I hear coaches all the time when they're not successful talk about going back to the basics. And our guys have done a good job of just staying basic. We make our fair share of mistakes, man, but our guys do a really good job of just staying within what they were taught on day one. And because we do that, because we've done that, we've had a chance to be in the games at the end of games. And we play some really good people, man. There's nobody on our schedule that wasn't a good football team. I don't care what their record was. Everybody's well coached. Everybody's got good looking players. I think Coach earlier talked about how, man, just standing out at pregame, some guys' players look like, man, but our guys don't care about what you look like, don't care about what school you transferred from. Man, our guys care about each other. And that was the biggest thing we wanted to do when we got here. Teach our guys to play an unselfish brand of football, care about one another, love one another, and go out and play for the name on the front. And then if you do that well, the name on the back will get talked about. And so those guys have adhered to that. They play extremely hard. You can't cut our tape on and don't say our guys play hard. And that's who we want to be. But again, we're only 65 to 70% of where we want to be. And we certainly look forward to getting better.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speak to you again next week.
Thank you. Go Panthers.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Southern University and Coach Graves. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Graves from Southern University. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Drew. How are you?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, we appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, obviously, this past week, bye week for your program. So if you could just kind of start us out by assessing how the week went for you.
Well, again, yeah, we had another bye week, which was good, much needed. We had a chance to go back and assess game versus Jackson State, the last outing, and then we did a lot of corrections and worked on us, trying to get some guys back healthy. And so we had a good week of practice. We had a really good week of practice. We practiced all the way up until Friday and gave the guys a couple of days off. And we came back on yesterday and got back honed in on, of course, last week we started looking at and working on Bethune-Cookman. And then yesterday we brought the guys back and we continued to work and we'll continue to work all week versus a very good Bethune-Cookman football team.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Coach Graves, good morning to you. How are you doing?
I'm well. Good morning to you as well.
So this Bethune-Cookman team, obviously, they've had over 500 yards of offense 3 of their last 4 games, and they get involved in a lot of shootouts. So in relation to you guys on offense, you guys, obviously you've averaged 15 points a game to this point. But after this bye week and everything that you've seen for your next opponent, do you think your team is prepared to handle if this game does get into a shootout situation offensively, that is?
Well, I think our team's capable of doing what we need to do to win a football game. It may not look like it stats-wise and look like that on the scoreboard all the time, but each game is its own different game. And so we're looking at the game this week. They're explosive. They do a great job offensively. They can score fast, but it's gonna be a challenge for us defensively to slow down that offense. Coach Woodie and his staff is doing a really, really good job of running offense as well as defense, but those guys are putting points up. So the challenge is defensively, can we slow those guys down?
All right, Coach, I appreciate you as always. Good luck down there in Daytona.
All right, thank you.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you?
Super fantastic, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yes, sir. So you talk about slowing them down. The last 2 weeks, on the first play of each game, they've scored a touchdown, an 85-yard touchdown this past week, a 79-yard touchdown against Alabama A&M. How does Southern University prepare to make sure that that doesn't occur against them?
Well, it's about executing. Guys have to be where they're supposed to be. Eyes have to be in the right place. We got to do a really good job up front getting a pass rush. It's no secret that they like to quick strike the first play of the game. So we got to just make sure that we're where we're supposed to be, and we have to execute and play.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on campus are well. You guys are on a winning streak versus Bethune, and you even beat them last year in overtime. But just talk about that's the historical piece. But just talk about going in this season into Daytona and obviously trying to stop that club and keep that streak going to 8.
Well, we're definitely not concerned about a streak. Our focus is going in and playing a very good football team and playing well. We need to play well to get a win. Season hadn't started the way that we had anticipated and wanted to. So the last thing that we even think about or talk about is the streak. I talk to my guys constantly about living in the precious present. And so we have to live in the precious present, and we have to prepare and go in there and play the way we're capable of playing from the first play to the last play, and hopefully that we'll make enough plays to come out on top. And that's what the mindset is, and that's what the goal is.
Have a blessed week and safe travels, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Graves.
Good morning, Doc. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Wanted to ask you a little bit more about how a team that is effective being able to run the ball and in terms of passing the ball and receivers, when you think about Bethune-Cookman, specifically Ali Scott Jr. and the wide receiver connection with Javon Ross and Malik Huggins being able to be so solid in terms of what they were able to do this past weekend. How does that stress a defense from your perspective, if you would?
Well, they do a great job of being balanced. Those guys do a great job of in the run game. They do a great job of blocking, and the running backs do a great job of running, finding the holes and getting downfield. They do a great job of stretching you in the passing game. We have to be cognizant of what they're trying to do. They do a great job of horizontally stretching them. And what I mean is they overload you a lot horizontally. And then as you try to answer the horizontal stretch, then they go up top with the vertical stretch on some big plays. So it's important that guys have to be in position, the right position. The eyes have to be in the right place. We got to cover guys up, because what they do a really good job versus teams that like to spot drop. And we're not a spot drop team, so we have to make sure that our guys do a great job of covering up those guys. Those guys don't run to a spot and just stop. Those guys will convert and those things. So the challenge for us is to make sure that where we're supposed to be, and we got to put some pressure on them up front to get those guys off their spot. They do a really good job. All three quarterbacks do a really good job of facilitating the offense. And so it's up to us to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do and be where we're supposed to be in order to help ourselves out and give ourselves a chance.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate the insight.
All right.
Next question goes to Toy Brown.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing well. Just wanted to get a quick update from you. I guess, has Jalen Woods been practicing, and will he be available for this upcoming game?
Well, he practiced last week. We'll see how it goes this week, and then the doctors will let me know where we are with that. But it was good to see him get out and get around and throw and things of that nature. And he's getting better and better each and every day. So we'll see how it goes the rest of the week.
Got it. Thank you.
Last question goes to Marvin Nichols.
Good morning, Coach Graves. This is your Grambling sister, Marvin Nichols from MTV
Good morning.
Sports.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Quick question, Coach. Bethune-Cookman has a reputation for playing hard for 4 quarters. What's your key to finishing strong and closing out drives late in the game?
We talk about AME and not the church, but we talk about attitude, mindset, and
Yeah.
execution. And so, that's what it's going to take. Coach Woodie and his staff has done a tremendous job. They did a great job of coming in here last year. It was 5 overtimes, and it was
Mm-hmm.
a great football game. And so, we know that they play hard, they play well. They're a relentless football team, and so it's up to us to make sure that we continue. We play hard, and the challenge. And I've challenged the guys. Listen, we have to put a full football game together in order for us to come out on the winning side. So the challenge is there. Those guys have been practicing hard. So we're going to continue to practice this weekend, and we'll go down there to Daytona Beach and play a good football team for 4 quarters or however long it takes, and we'll see where it goes from there.
All right, Coach. Good luck. I'll be watching.
Thank you.
Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you. Go Jags.
Thank you. All right, we now move over to Texas Southern University. Coach Dishman, once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Going to pause momentarily. Thank you for your patience. We are working to connect with Coach Dishman. We do apologize for the delay as well as any inconvenience. We'll be back momentarily. All right, once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Dishman of Texas Southern. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing?
Doing great, Coach. As always, thank you for taking time to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Well, it's there's goes to show you when all three phases are working. That's what you can do as a team. All three of our phases is working: special teams, offense, and defense. Our guys was up for the game. I'm saying, so it was a good game for us to showcase because all three phases of us was working.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Dishman, congrats on the win this Saturday.
Thank you, Wayne.
So my question for you today is, just with a performance like that, 557 yards of offense and outgaining your opponent by more than twice the yardage, and KJ Cooper coming out and throwing a couple touchdowns and running for another. How do you see, or what are you going to do with your staff this week to make that performance best carry over into this next game against Grambling?
Well, I got a very good staff here, and they understand what we have to do. They understand where we're trying to go to. The West is still is one of our goals to win. So we have not accomplished that goal. So winning last week and winning the week before, that was just notches on our belts to get us to our goal.
All right, Coach. I appreciate you. Good luck this week down there in Grambling.
Thank you.
This question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach. How are you, sir?
I'm good, James. How are you?
I'm blessed. Talk a little bit about the offensive side of your ball and Cooper, and you guys were able to put up 24 in that quarter there. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, KJ had us rolling early. Our running backs ran the ball very good. Our offensive line did what they they're supposed to do. They're supposed to make sure that KJ and our running backs get through the holes, and they did exactly what they're supposed to have been doing.
Thank you, Coach. Have a great week.
All right.
Question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Mr. Daniels.
Coach, wins and losses don't always tell the whole story. But now that your team has won 2 conference games in a row, how would you evaluate the status of your program for this season?
Well, we still have a lot of games left. I would not evaluate our program right now because we have a lot of games left. Our main goal is to win the West. Our main goal is to be in Atlanta. So if we can accomplish those 2 goals, then our season will be successful.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach Dishman, how you doing this morning?
Mr. Holliday.
Going into the game, you held Pine Bluff to 269 yards of total offense. How do you rate your defense so far after this game?
Well, like I said earlier, I'm not going to rate our team yet until we get to our goals. Once we reach our goals, then I can give A's and B's or whatever grades we want to give them. But right now, our team is trying to gel and trying to just come together as a team and win as a team. Last week, you saw all 3 of our phases working. Our offense was working good, our special team was doing good, and our defense was good. And then that's what we call team sport. So if all 3 phases can work again this coming week versus Grambling, it'll be even better.
I appreciate you, Coach.
All right.
Question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Mr. Harris.
Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about your linebacker core and just kind of get a sense of how you feel like those guys are playing. I mean, when you look at the numbers, I mean, they seem really impressive. I think you have your 3 guys are all in the top 7, I believe, in the SWAC right now in terms of tackles. So how are you feeling about how they're playing right now?
Well, as a team, I think we playing pretty good. I don't want to put out one group is better than another group, but as a team, we're playing pretty good right now. We're trying to get our mojo. So, our linebacker core is the strength of our defense. We know that, but it wouldn't be the strength of our defense without our defensive front. Our defensive front's playing pretty good. So we still got a lot of football left. So at the end of the year, we see where we at.
But what do you like about what those guys are doing right now?
Well, they're competing. They're communicating. And when you compete and communicate with each other, that's the best form of defense you can have. It's a player-ran team. This is a player-ran team, and the players are actually stepping up and holding each other accountable. So when you can do that, the best teams I've been on, the '93 Oilers, the '91 Oilers, we hold each other accountable. So when your teammates can hold you accountable, then it's even better.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
This question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Yeah, Dr. Ville's inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
Okay, Dr.
Good morning,
Cavill.
Coach Dishman.
How are you?
I think you opened it up really well when you talked about all phases coming together, be effective, being able to put up 50 points, but at the same time, shut somebody down to just 7 points. Talks about the collective effort that certainly haven't seen from Texas Southern in a while, maybe across the league, HBCU, FCS football. And I know how you're not reticent to necessarily point out players because it's important from a team perspective, but from a media perspective, if you're given this chance, I know Terrence, my colleague, talked about defensively the linebackers, and you were able to give a little framework of what that looks like. Obviously, KJ Black as the quarterback is playing really well, but you were able to rush for 350 yards and pass for 207 yards. But specifically, Renfro had 27 carries for 123 yards, averaging 6 yards and had a long of 25. But then Richardson was able to get in the end zone twice on just 7 receptions, 103 yards. Talk about their ability to work within the team concept. Obviously, offensive has to be effective, but what do they bring to the table so we can talk a little bit about what they're doing from that perspective?
We have a lot of good players on this team. Rowe's a good player. Renfro's a good player. Ford's a good player. KJ is a callous of a good quarterback. He can make all the throws. So I won't be surprised if he's not in the league somewhere within the next 2 years. So we have a lot of good players on the team. Right now we're gelling together as a team. And we gotta try. I'm not trying to peak them too fast, but we have to peak soon. And once we do that, then you can see us as a complete team. Once we're in Atlanta, I want to be peaked.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that. Also wanted to say, Coach Trey Oliver over there in North Carolina Central, I know you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, but he wanted to make sure I passed on. I know you'll play anybody, anywhere. He looks forward to maybe a home-and-home series in terms of getting on the schedule. So I thought I'd put that out there.
You have my number, right? You give him my number.
Yes, sir, I do.
Give him my number.
I'll share it. I get the message. Thank you, Coach Bishop. Have a great one.
All right, you too.
Coach, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, guys, have a great one.
Thank you. All right, next we go over to Coach Taylor with Jackson State. Once again, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up if time permits. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Taylor with Jackson State. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning. How's everyone doing today?
Doing great, Coach. And as always, we appreciate you taking time to join us. If you could start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alabama A&M.
Yeah, it was a good weekend for us this past weekend. Another conference opponent in Alabama A&M. Our football team really came out ready to play in all 3 phases. I thought we had explosive plays and on the offensive side, defensive side, and in special teams. Travis Terrell woke up right there in special teams with a big return as well. Offensively, they played well. We played well as a unit. Jacoby and Morgan did a good job of going out there and executing the offense. We were able to accumulate over 700 yards of total offense. Ran the ball for over 300 and passed for over 300. So I was very pleased with those guys on the offensive side. The defensive side did exactly what they've been doing week in, week out. Playing solid defense, but this week they were able to create some turnovers. So very pleased where we're at right now. And, we just got to get ready for homecoming this week and the next conference opponent in Alabama State.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach, I know you focus on the game in the moment, but you also have the ability to understand the historical perspective of these type of matchups. And you've been them in various different ways across the league, whether it's SWAC or MEAC. We have a number 1 versus number 2 team in here. Obviously, a number 14 in terms of the FCS ranking, and then even Alabama State receiving votes. Can you talk about the magnitude of why these type of games are important for this league, but at the same time being able to appreciate that, but focus on what needs to be done in terms of game time, getting ready for such a big game, even being homecoming?
Yeah, I start with the last part of the question first. Anytime Jackson State and Alabama State come together in a game, it's going to be a physical football game. Whether we're on the road or we're right here in the vet, those games are very physical, and I've been stressing that to our football team. You got two teams in the East in great position to, after this weekend be able to put themselves in great position to win the East. We clinched on their field last year with that East Division title, so they're looking for a little get back right now. And I know Coach Eddie Rob have them, locked in and ready to go. The thing that I also talked to the team about, they just played their homecoming last weekend, and here it is, they're playing in another homecoming, so they're looking to win two homecomings in a row. So we just got to be ready to go, and they're a little different this year. Last year. Andrew Body wasn't on the field, but he'll be on the field this weekend, and they can score points. They can score points. They're still playing solid defense over there, which you expect from an Eddie Rob led team. So we got to be ready to go. This is a big game for us, but it's also the next game for us. We talk about here all the time, just taking each and every conference game, taking it very serious, because we don't want to be in a situation towards the end of the season where we're allowing. We're hoping and praying somebody else can help us out a little bit. So our destiny is still in our full control. The exposure is huge. You talk about a game like this on ESPNU this weekend. So it's going to be a lot of eyes watching this. The top two teams in some polls in HBCU, two well-coached programs. So it's an opportunity to go out and show that we're playing good ball, not only in HBCU, but for an FCS game too as well, what you talked about with us being blessed and fortunate enough to be ranked in the top 20. They're receiving votes, and they're well deserved by both programs. So it's important that we come out and play a clean football game and put a good brand on ESPNU this weekend, Doc.
Thank you, Coach. Excellent framework.
No
Good luck
problem.
this weekend, and look forward to it.
Thank you, Doc.
Question goes to Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach TC Taylor.
Hey, how you doing, Wayne?
Doing well. Doing
All right.
well. Hey, so obviously, I said last night on my show, I said that the game you guys played against Alabama State and also the one against FAMU, those are two of the best games in the SWAC all last year. With those big gains of experience of those two, and then also the one in the Celebration Bowl, as you lead up to this game this week, though, personally for you, what is your mental approach and every part of that to get your team ready to go for situations just like this?
That's what I just think, we're built like that. That's the way we, cement that in these guys' heads. If you want to be playing in December in a Celebration Bowl, you want to be playing for a SWAC championship, these are the type of games you have to go out and perform well in and give yourself an opportunity to, play in those SWAC championships in the Celebration Bowl. But for both teams, it's about winning the East right now. You got two conference opponents that are really playing great football and clicking at the right time. And it's gonna answer a lot of questions. I listened to a little piece of your show last night. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was some great stats being thrown out there and everything. But this is gonna be like I said, a dogfight come this weekend. But mentally, I think we're ready for it. We got some age at the right positions on this team. This coaching staff, we played in a lot of big time football games last year. And we got enough guys off those teams from last year, off the team from last year, that know how to perform in these type moments.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you supporting, watching my show, and good luck to you and your group this week, man. Big game, exciting.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good afternoon, Coach.
How you doing, Perry?
I'm super fantastic, Coach. Let's talk about controlling Andrew Body and the game plan. How do you slow that guy down?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's tough. He's playing at a high level. That entire offense is scoring a lot of points right now, and he's the unquestioned leader of that group. I think their OC does a great job of putting him in the right situations in order to be successful as a quarterback. I think it's that offense is, perfectly put together for Andrew Body type player. But, he had the injury last year and he came back this year. You can look at each and every game. He has a chip on his shoulder. He's really willing that team to, some really through some really good football games this year. But we know too also they want to run that football. They got some backs that he's handing it off to. They rushed for over 300 yards this past weekend as well. But he's a guy that can beat you in the RPO game and pull the ball down and run well. So we got to be pretty much sound on defense. When I say that, be in the right spots and trust your eyes. Player assignment is going to be very critical when you're playing Andrew Body, because when he breaks the pocket, he's hard to contain. And we get an opportunity to strike, we got to strike. That's what we talk about each and every week. When you get an opportunity to put pads, helmet on one of their guys or one of their players, we got to get them to the ground.
Thank you, Coach. I'm looking forward to this football game this weekend.
I think everybody is.
This question goes to Doc Holliday.
Coach TC, good afternoon.
Doc, what's going on?
I'm good. I'm good. Happy homecoming week.
Oh,
Going into this game, of course, it's homecoming week. Trying to get the players to stay focused for this game because it is a big game at the vet. But going back to the last two games, the offense has clicked on against Southern, going over for 500 yards, and then this past weekend against A&M for over 700 yards of total offense. We're leading with Jacoby and Morgan with 314 in the air, but another 120 on the ground. Reminded me looking at Vince Young running the ball. What's the thing that you kind of got to chit chat with the offense, especially getting guys going like Shamar Savage and Janela Dupree, and also getting Travis Terrell, getting him up and running, having a 100-yard game this past Saturday.
That's awesome. I like that. For me, it was just telling them going into the Southern game, going back to that game, hey, let's think players over plays. We got the players here that can really break games wide open. And if you find the ways and ways to get them the ball in space, I knew we would have an opportunity to be pretty explosive as a unit. You talked about Travis Terrell, Mott Miller, all those guys, Denario Davenport at the running backs. These receivers every week is somebody stepping up. Jamil Gardner, Shamar Savage, Nate Rembert, Janalen Dupree is having an amazing year right now. So, you sometimes you got to think players over plays. And I thought, our offensive staff is doing a good job of that. But the key piece to it is just Jacobian is just playing better football. He's playing better football right now. He's seeing the field. He knows when to pull it down and run. He knows when to pull it down to make throws. So this is no different than than Alabama State. We're only going to go as far as Jacoby and Morgan can take us. He's done it before. He's a national champion, and if he continue to play good football, we're going to be fine as an offensive unit.
I appreciate you, Coach. See you this weekend.
All right, see you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Jackson are well. SWAC Showdown, Alabama State, Jackson, Morgan, Body. I mean, it has everything, but just talk a little bit about what you envision, what you look forward to in the historical piece of these type of games, because the greater audience, everybody can watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I'm just looking forward to a great football game in itself. This is going to be one of, I think, the bigger crowds with it being homecoming for Jackson State. The magnitude of number one versus number two, two really high-level FCS teams. So the crowd is going to be there. The two really good football teams is going to be there. Two really good coaching staffs going to be there. It's everything that you want in a football game. And one thing that I remember from last year when we played Alabama State, it was just a great football game from first quarter to the end of the football game. You talk about a physical battle against with two really good football teams, and it's not going to be any different this weekend. The thing about this East Conference, one loss can hurt you. It's been like that for the last few years in this conference, but you know that one loss can hurt you in this side of the division. So, you know, I know both teams are going to go out there and give it their all. You talked about the quarterbacks. You know, might be talking about considerably the two best quarterbacks in this conference and two of the top in FCS football. So it's the making of a really good pot of gumbo this weekend going down here in Jackson at the vet for JSU's homecoming against Alabama State.
Have a blessed week, Coach.
All right, thank you. You as well.
Last question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Ty. How are you?
I'm good. Now, you look at the tail of the tape. It's like a boxing match when you look at this game. And inside the trenches, both teams are averaging over 200 yards per game rushing. So what will it take for your Tiger team to take control of that aspect of the game?
We got to control the line of scrimmage, you know, on both sides of the football. That's something we emphasize, whether it's our D-line versus their offensive line, our offensive line versus their D-line. Two very well-coached defenses. So, you know, that's going to be interesting. But I think the team that can limit the most mistakes, you know, you want to limit the mistakes in a football game like that. And also the situational football is always key in a high-level game like this. You talk about when you get to the red zone, being able to get points, when you being solid on third down, not getting behind the chains, the chains on offensive drives, and the penalties count has to be low because, you know, those kind of things can be the difference in this type of football game this weekend.
All right, Coach. Thanks a lot, man. Good luck.
All right. Thank you.
Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Sure, thank you.
All
This
right.
concludes our SWAC Football Head Coaches Media Session for Monday, October 6th. Thank you for your participation. Just a reminder, all SWAC Football Head Coaches Media Sessions are digital.